One bullet got the whole world killing each other. Yes, all it took to start the world's greatest war, which we now know as World War I, was one bullet, one assassination of a political leader, and one act of uncontrollable anger. It was like Jenga, one delicately placed piece of removed, and everything came crashing down. Today, on Behind the Date, we will take you back to June 28, 1914, the day when the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was a pivotal event in history that sparked the beginning of World War I. On June 28, 1914, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Franz Ferdinand, was visiting Sarajevo with his wife, Sophie. During the visit, a young Serbian nationalist named Gavrilo Princip shot and killed Franz Ferdinand and his wife. The assassination of Franz Ferdinand was the catalyst for a series of events that eventually led to the outbreak of World War I. Before the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, there was already tension between Austria-Hungary and Serbia. The two countries were locked in a bitter rivalry, which was further stoked by the nationalist sentiment in Serbia. The Serbian nationalist group known as the Black Hand was particularly active in the region, and many of its members were actively seeking to destabilize Austria-Hungary and create a greater Serbia. One of the members of the Black Hand was Gavrilo Princip, the man who would ultimately assassinate Franz Ferdinand. On the day of the assassination, Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie were visiting Sarajevo. One of the conspirators threw a bomb at their car, but it exploded behind injuring 15 people, excluding the royal couple. The couple then proceeded to go to an event, and instead of following up with the planned itinerary, decided to visit the injured in the hospital. The driver, confused by the sudden change of plan, took a different route, which at the time had a lot of traffic. Princip found himself, by chance, standing right beside it. Seizing the opportunity, he quickly stepped up to the car and shot both Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie. The assassination of Franz Ferdinand quickly caused an international crisis. Austria-Hungary was outraged and blamed Serbia for the assassination. It sent an ultimatum to Serbia, demanding it take responsibility for the assassination and accept a number of harsh demands. Serbia refused to comply, and soon enough, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. This triggered a series of events that eventually led to the outbreak of World War I. Well, so what were these series of events? You see, in the decades leading up to the war, Europe had been divided into two armed camps, the Triple Alliance of Austria-Hungary, Germany, and Italy, and the Triple Entente, Russia, France, and Britain. This system of alliances meant that a conflict between any two of the major powers could quickly draw in all of the other powers. In the years leading up to the war, several events heightened tensions between the major powers. In 1908, Austria-Hungary annexed the Balkan state of Bosnia-Herzegovina, which was largely populated by ethnic Serbs. This move outraged Serbia and its ally Russia, and led to a series of diplomatic crises between the two countries and Austria-Hungary. Germany, which was allied with Austria-Hungary, sought to mediate the dispute, but was unsuccessful. In 1911, Italy declared war on the Ottoman Empire to gain control of the Mediterranean Sea. This conflict had a major impact on the balance of power in Europe, and it further strained relations between the major powers. In the years before the war, the major powers also competed for colonies in Africa and Asia. This competition, known as the Scramble for Africa, increased tensions between Britain and Germany, and between France and Germany. The tension between the major powers of Europe was further exacerbated by a series of military buildups and arms races. In 1906, Britain completed the first all-big-gun battleship, the HMS Dreadnought. This new battleship prompted a naval arms race between Britain and Germany, as each sought to build a larger and more powerful fleet. the major powers of Europe were also engaged in a race to develop more advanced weapons technologies. This included the development of machine guns, heavy artillery, poison gas, and new types of shells. These underlying causes of World War I, combined with the immediate cause of the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, created a perfect storm of political and military tension that ultimately led to the outbreak of war. As the powers of Europe mobilized for war, the conflict quickly spread beyond the continent, engulfing the world in a conflict that would last 4 years and cost millions of lives. The immediate aftermath of the assassination was chaos. Austria-Hungary had declared a state of war with Serbia within a month, and the world's major powers began to take sides. Germany declared war on Russia, and France followed suit sometime later. It was only a matter of time before Britain declared war on Germany, and the war was on. The war officially began on 28 July 1914 and lasted 4 years and 3 months. The war was fought on many fronts and by many nations, with the two sides vying for dominance. The war was fought in the air, on land, and at sea, and was characterized by trench warfare and the use of new technology, such as machine guns, tanks, and chemical weapons. As the war dragged on, the warring sides became increasingly desperate, leading to the use of more brutal tactics, such as unrestricted submarine warfare and the bombing of civilian targets. The war resulted in the death of over 16 million people and wounded another 20 million. Among the casualties, many millions were civilians. The war also caused political upheaval and the fall of several empires. The Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires both collapsed during the war, and the Russian Empire was replaced by the Soviet Union. The war also destabilized Europe and caused the continent to become more divided than it had been before. This led to the creation of the League of Nations, an international organization designed to prevent future wars. The war also changed the way wars were fought, ushering in a new era of modern warfare. It also had a profound impact on the way civilians were treated in war. It also resulted in a new wave of militarism and nationalism, which had a major impact on the world stage. The war also had a long-term economic impact. Economies were destroyed, and it took many years for them to recover. Inflation and unemployment skyrocketed, and many countries were left in debt. This led to the creation of the Treaty of Versailles, which sought to punish Germany and ensure that it would never start another war. This treaty would have a lasting impact on Germany and Europe and would lead to the rise of Nazism and World War I. World War I was one of the most destructive wars in human history, and its consequences are still felt today. It changed the way wars were fought, changed the way civilians were treated in war, and had a major economic and political impact not only on Europe, but around the world. If you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, if you are interested in more such stories, then check out our previous video on the assassination of Pakistan's first female Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto.